McGill, listen up. Here's the story about some young women who live in a blue world. The 2022 edition of National Girls and Women in Sports Day features a matchup that Eiffel 65 will be proud of, as we have two teams who wear blue and hope to give each other the blues. The Hopkins Royals take on the Minnetonka Skippers, both teams potential state championship contenders in Class 4A. Hello everyone, I'm Mike Peden, joined by LaToya, Turk, and LaToya. This matchup took on some different meetings over the last few days. We got word today that Kiani Lockett, the starting point guard for Minnetonka, tore her ACL. Her season is over, and she's going to need a few procedures before she can suit up for Creighton. So going in, this was a matchup everyone circled on the calendar. That being said, it would be unwise to write off Minnetonka.
Oh, yeah, we definitely can't write off Minnetonka because they still have a very impactful backcourt with Desiree Ware and Aaliyah Crump in that backcourt. So can't write them off. Their record speaks for itself. This is a team that we knew that would be a challenge for Hopkins. I mean, we even dressed up for this game. So I'm still definitely looking forward. I definitely want to send well wishes out to Miss Lockett. I was looking forward to seeing her play tonight. I feel like she's one of the best point guards in the state right now. She is a true floor general, and she's not only going to be a loss for the Skippers to lose her for the season, but it is just a loss for Minnesota because, you know, a lot of us were looking forward to seeing her play this year.
And I also want to send condolences to her mother, who has watched every game of Kiani's that I've covered about 10 times over. Tootie Lewis will get the start for the Skippers, and LaToya, talk about being thrown into the fire. Tootie Lewis, no stranger. She got some experience at Cretin-Derham Hall before coming over here. But your first game as the starting point guard is against one of the best teams in the state.
Hey, it's time to show up. And, you know, the good thing about it is that she's had a lot of time on the court to practice against greats like Desiree Ware and Lockett. So she'll be prepared and equipped. She knows what she's up for.
And adding another level of spice to this narrative, Aaliyah Crump and Linnell Wright were both part of the Hopkins program before moving over to Minnetonka. Both could do so since neither of them were in ninth grade before this season. I can't think of a better build-up than that. Two former Hopkins players, this is their first chance to go against their former team.
That's always a good, fun experience to be able to play against your old teammates. And, you know, we talk about this all the time. It's a very small basketball world here, and so a lot of the girls get to play with and against each other multiple times throughout the year. So I think they'll be comfortable in their roles, and it'll be fun and exciting experience for them, especially being so young.
Wright gives them a perimeter option, and Aaliyah Crump getting a lot of publicity in only her freshman year. We've talked a lot about Minnetonka. Let's not forget about Hopkins. We saw them on Friday when they knocked off St. Michael Albertville. That front five paying high dividends they have all year long, and what makes them so tough to contain is how versatile that starting five is. Any one of them can go off for a big game. And in most cases, it's not just one player, LaToya, it's multiple.
Yeah, all of their players can play any position on the floor. We can see Amaya Battle go down in the paint. She's a bigger guard. She can post up some of the smaller guards. And we've even seen Nnaji take the three in these last few games. So, you know, it's just going to be very hard to defend them. And they run their offense so seamless. You know, they just have so many threats. Their full court press is just smothering for other teams. And having Kiani out of the lineup might pose a problem for the Skippers tonight.
The last time we were here, Amaya Battle and Maya Nnaji paired up splendidly with high-lows, kickouts, you name it. We'll see if they repeat that recipe for success or come up with a new concoction when we return. Twin Cities Sports Broadcasting, and a whole lot more. That's what you get from TSB Television. We provide long-lasting digital coverage of your favorite athletes from the preps to the pros. Dazzling moves. Holloman, good if it goes. Yes! Game winners. James, she's in trouble. Finds James. Toss shot! It goes in! And everything in between. Before we let you go, do you want to say hi to anybody?
Oh, I don't know. That put me on the spot there.
If you want to connect with our audience, visit us at patreon.com/TSB Television or sponsor our coverage through PayPal and Cash App.
Thank you for watching.
And we return to the Lindbergh Center at Minnetonka, home of Hopkins High School, a place with lots of memories, a lot of names to come through here, both in high school and AAU. LaToya, one thing I forgot to mention in the open, not only is Kiani Lockett the starting point guard, she was also the top scorer for Minnetonka.
Right, correct. Definitely a floor general. She brings so much more to the team than just scoring. I mean, they're going to miss that 17 and a half points that she's bringing a night, but she's just, and I'll say it again and I'll keep saying it, she's very resilient and probably one of the better floor generals that I've seen play high school girls basketball in our state here in the past 5 years.
And losing a player to an ACL tear is something Hopkins knows all too well. Elena Contreras suffered the same injury last summer during AAU competition, rendering her unable to play. So Hopkins, they've had to navigate this season without their best perimeter shooter. The difference is Hopkins is used to that by now. Minnetonka, this is their first game with Tootie Lewis at the starting point guard slot. But we'll see what happens.
And, you know, at the end of the day, Tootie has to play defense on Lockett in practice, so she's prepared.
Let's recap the starters for you. For Minnetonka, the visitors, it's Desiree Ware, the UAB commit, number 3. Tori McKinney, number 14. Tootie Lewis taking over for Kiani Lockett, number 20. Aaliyah Crump, number 23. And Amaya Battle, number 25. Hopkins will start. Hopkins will start. Amaya Battle, number 5. Taylor Woodson, number 20. Liv McGill, number 23. Nunu Agara, number 24. And Nnaji, number 34. Had to pause for a moment. Just a reminder to wear your masks.
And that's a good thing that the ADs and the staff are coming through to remind fans. It's so important to keep the players and the staff, the refs, the coaches healthy as we're closing out this regular season conference play and getting ready for, section playoffs. We want to keep everyone healthy.
In Hopkins, they had a COVID outbreak over the holidays. Nunu Agara told us she had a case of it when they beat Eden Prairie, so the Royals, no stranger to that either. I would imagine both these teams would prefer not to go through that again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Minnetonka wearing the white, Hopkins wearing their black jerseys tonight. Their old home kits, if you will. They rolled out their new ones for the Girls Basketball Invitational that ESPN put together a couple weeks ago. Amaya Battle is laying back. Minnetonka laying back. It looks like they're running a zone.
Yeah, they were trying to figure out what defense they were in.
You don't see that kind of a start often. You won't in a couple of years when they have a shot clock.
We've seen a lot of teams go to zone play against Hopkins. And it's just really hard to compete against them matching up woman to woman.
I wonder if Minnetonka is at least starting out that way because they don't have Lockett, which takes away a little bit of athleticism. Crump misses Dasovich on the pass.
She had the right idea there. She's going to take a little positioning to get in position. And we've talked about this repetitively, the swarming defense that Hopkins provides to their guests each night.
Battle to Nnaji. Nnaji turnaround, no good. You may know Minnetonka knocked off Hopkins 6 years ago to win their first Class 4A state championship. Aaliyah Crump launches the 3. That goes over the backboard, so a dead ball rebound to Hopkins. Hopkins last won it all in 2019, no state tournament in 2020, and lost to Chaska in the semis of the Class 4A state tournament last spring. Nnaji can't get the bounce. Tootie Lewis gets the rebound. Tootie Lewis started at Cretin-Durham Hall before making the move to Minnetonka. One of several newcomers for the Skippers this year. We mentioned Crump and Wright as well. And there's another player, Desiree Ware. She goes to McKinney. Extra pass to Crump. Crump draws the foul. Nope, traveling call instead. But it's interesting to see the makeup of this Minnetonka team and how they came together. The majority of them came from other schools.
Yeah, and it just seems, the cards just laid out like that. It seems to happen all around the city. Oh, Woodson dragged that foot a little bit. That's a player that I'm enjoying watching and watched her development. She plays all aspects of the floor for Hopkins as well. She has amazing defense and court sight.
Minnetonka gets on the board, that much I can tell you. Agara on Dasovich. McGill. Ware closes in.
That's one thing. Ware also, I think she also runs track. She's really good with her defensive assignments.
Nunu Agara could run track with how quickly she made the baseline move. And you are right about Ware. She is actually a state track champion. Hopkins on the run. Battle short on the layup. Crump lost the dribble. Woodson picks it up. Easy pickings. Minnetonka looking to run. Dasovich, baseline jumper. Doesn't drop. Agara can't catch up to it in time.
Reaching with those long arms there. So this is Wednesday. Have either of these teams played this week already?
No, both teams have not played since last weekend.
Okay.
So this is Minnetonka's first game without Lockett. Hopkins has not played since Friday. They've had a couple practices.
And Miss McGill says she is having none of that.
Ware is fouled by McGill, and she'll go to the line for two. Ware came over as a freshman after starting her varsity career at Maranatha Christian Academy. Likes to cook, and as we noted, a state track champion in the 400 meters.
But if I'm not mistaken, I think her mother might have been a track athlete as well. Don't quote me on that. I'll have to check in with Dr. Ware on that.
Well, I'm sure she'll watch this game and send you a reply.
Yeah, let us know in the comments. I know your parents are athletes as well, Desiree. Let us know what they did.
Ware splits at the line. Nnaji is fouled.
And you can see Emma's playing really hard against Maya in the paint on both ends of the floor. We've seen them have a little contact. I think the ref's talking to him about it now.
Maya considered one of the best post players as far as movement. She was asked what skills does it take. She said patience and being able to play with pace. You can't rush too fast. You have to be composed and outsmart your defender. And you also need to be strong in order to absorb contact, which she does so valiantly and has for the last several years.
Yeah, a lot of nights she's seeing the double team, and she's consistently scoring against it.
That's why she will play in the McDonald's All-American game. Emma Dasovich gets on the board. Dasovich is someone who can put up points, doesn't do it a lot with the talent she has around her, but she can put up big numbers when the situation calls for it. Taylor Woodson, baseline jumper, swish.
Yeah, and Taylor can score from just about any spot on the floor. We've seen her against that zone work the middle, on the high-low with Nunu and Nnaji. Defensively, they're leading the break.
Ware got the stop just in time.
I see sniper Kelly Boyd come in, early on to give Liv a little breather there. We know the other team's playing a zone, and so what's the easiest way to pull them out of that zone? Bring in your shooter.
Boyle hit.
Exactly what Kelly is.
Well, she hit 3 triples against St. Michael Albertville. Nnaji lost the dribble. Judy Lewis with the steal, and she's fouled on the 15-footer. Lewis averaging 5.3 points per game. A junior came over from Cretin-Durham Hall. And we'll see what the future holds, but at the start of the season, I was surprised to see the number of transfers Minnetonka picked up. You wonder if they're putting in the building blocks to create a program the way Hopkins has.
Absolutely. When you have players of that caliber playing, you don't have to do much. Game speaks for itself. Who wouldn't want to play with this lineup?
Opposing coaches and analysts have tabbed Aaliyah Crump as the next big thing. She classed up 3 grades last summer in AAU.
It's not easy to do.
Amaya Battle missed the 3. Woodson off balance. Boyle gets the offensive rebound and will back off. 7-5 our score.
You see they're switching up the defense here. Now you can see Minnetonka's in a man-to-man.
Maya Nnaji tries to muscle her way inside, and she'll go back to the line for 2.
Maya Nnaji just weight roomed them down there.
Well, she did say you have to be strong to absorb contact, and Maya Nnaji takes a lot of it, but doesn't bother her one bit. And you also got to see a glimpse of her humility when I spoke to her on Friday about earning the McDonald's All-American nomination. She was so grateful, thanked just about everybody, and Amaya was happy to have one of her own, even though Amaya won't get to play in it.
She gets the split there at the line. And you can see Hopkins here, once again with that full court press. Pays off big for him sometimes, and sometimes they get beat on that back door.
McKinney. Minnetonka swings it around. Taylor Woodson picks it up. Scramble for the ball. Hopkins wins it.
Man, Woodson is a hustler. She's on the floor. She's in the lane.
Well, Woodson, like the rest of the starting 5, all on the ESPN W 100 list. Amaya Battle, 17-footer, is short. Dead ball rebound to Minnetonka. Bit of a sluggish start, LaToya. Hopkins 2 of 4 from the free throw line. Minnetonka 1 of 4, and neither side has found their shooting form yet.
And we're used to seeing these teams be able to get out and get the score up fairly quickly, but we have 2 teams that play at the same level, so they're just matching each other's energy.
Linnell Wright throws it away. Wright, the 8th grader.
And it's very difficult when you're a smaller guard to see over that defensive pressure that Hopkins puts on you, especially when they're doubling you. But usually you have 2 players open underneath the basket. You have to execute sooner than later. And then you can see now they're, Minnetonka's back in their zone defense, just really trying to switch it up against Hopkins.
Taylor Woodson scores on the baseline cut. It's 10-5. Right. Swarm. McGill leaping up for the steal. Sprinting to the bucket. And Crump gets the rebound. The skip to Dasovich. Hesitation move and the layup.
Gathered herself and took her time there.
Emma, the eldest of the Dasovich sisters, although it's going to be a little while before her younger sister can suit up. Crump times the pass. Nice move, but couldn't finish.
That
Watch
did
out
look
for Crump,
pretty.
though. She is elusive. Copeland inside to Woodson, but the pass is offline. Hamdorf steps into the three. Bullseye.
Bounce.
Grace Hamdorf averaging 4.5 per game, but another player that could see more time with Kiani Lockett no longer available.
And we have a tied-up game here. How often do we see that?
Kelly Boyle looking to change that. Agara with the offensive rebound around 2 defenders. Boyle tried to bait Dasovich.
Nice
Extra
court
pass.
vision.
And Taylor Woodson is feasting, but that was set up by that quick passing set after Boyle couldn't bait Dasovich on the 3.
And that's knowing your player. She saw she had that inside lane there.
Right with the answer. Over the backboard, dead ball rebound. Well, you're asking me about tie scores, LaToya. Saturday's game, De La Salle Mankato East, we saw a few ties in that one. So when you're asking me when's the last time I saw a tie game, well, you don't have to go that far. That was a fun one. Then again, I could say that about almost every game.
It's always nice to be on the island.
Nnaji.
And Liv's doing a good job of finding them on those cuts back door.
And Hopkins leads 14-10. They've scored on back-to-back possessions. Here's Desiree Ware. Crump, deep 3. Off the back iron. McGill. Pass was slightly offline. Tatum Woodson couldn't catch up to it. Desiree Ware snatched it away. And Ware draws the foul on Boyle.
She saw the lane. Just that little bit of hesitation gave her an opportunity to get in the lane there and draw that foul.
Well, we know how quick Lockett is, but don't forget, Desiree Ware has some speed as well. We were so accustomed to seeing Lockett and having her allowed Ware to shift to the 2 spot, but as we're seeing LaToya, and this is why I think Minnetonka is still in the mix.
Yeah,
they have a lot of depth.
Right. The first time I had an opportunity to see Ware play was at Maranatha, and I think she was in junior high during that time.
Ware again, short, gets her own rebound, and will shoot 2. Another example of that blistering speed of hers.
You know, that first step can be deadly. We see a couple of guards around the state now who, if you get beat on their first step, you just need to make sure your help side defense is there and don't foul.
When she's not playing basketball, Ware likes to cook, and you may know this, LaToya, also participated in a debutante program.
Oh, yeah, I can
year.
see that. I can definitely see that.
Well, you don't have to because she did.
I can
Her
see
mom
that.
has the photos.
I was going to say that. She fits that.
I talked to her briefly about that, and she and her mother excited for that opportunity. Mike Contreras as well, to have a platform for young black women to showcase themselves like that.
Yes, and I think the debutante ball is tied to one of our 8 black fraternity and sororities here nationally, the Alpha Kappa Alphas.
Which our old buddy Andrea is a member of, if I'm
Yes.
correct.
She would be so proud that you were able to recognize that.
Well, Liv McGill's going to be proud that she penetrated her way inside for 2. Ware through the lane.
Doing it again.
She's having trouble finishing, though. Battle to Agara. That's going to be a walk. And the person I'm talking about, Andrea Hubbard, who is now in D.C., if I'm correct, or will soon be there, part of a job promotion. And, well, unfortunately, she can't coach here anymore, but
What an
couldn't get enough
amazing
basketball.
young lady, yes.
Couldn't get enough basketball. .808 to go in the first half. Ware launches the 3. Battle. The bounce pass to Tatum Woodson around Nnaji.
And that's what happens when you run the floor and you have a great point guard. They're going to find you.
And how about Nnaji setting herself up as a pick? Here's McKinney, the runner. Minnetonka still struggling to connect on those runners.
So now they can't go asleep defensively here.
Agara, count it.
And it's really hard to defend Hopkins if you get caught on their back, whether it's Woodson, whether it's Nunu, whether it's Maya. If you get caught on their back, better just keep your hands straight up in the air.
Hopkins on a 10-1 run, and that will be enough. Hopkins is going to call the timeout. Okay.
And it seems to be a little confusion there. Okay, well, maybe she's just talking to him about a play. You know, sometimes we saw a couple times during the Eden Prairie game, we were like, wait, I didn't call a timeout. Did you call a timeout?
Well, I can't call a timeout.
Yeah.
I do not have that authority. Agara, who made the last bucket, most of you may know her story, but if you don't, she will go to Stanford in a couple of years. An aspiring criminal defense attorney. That's what she wants to do when she grows up, and she has received a lot of praise over the years. I remember Crystal Flint came over and said hello to her in the last AAU season. No matter who you talk to, they always have something positive to say about Nunu Agara.
Yeah, I'm definitely a fan. She's a very well-rounded young lady. And each year she just continues to progress and develop. She's an amazing athlete.
She logged some time a couple years ago, missing the free throw, but Nnaji sprints to collect the O-board. So Hopkins can extend this 10-1 run of theirs, as Minnetonka is stuck in a shooting rut. Battle for three. Short. And a foul on Ware.
It's hard to contend with those big bodies underneath that basket. Hopkins traditionally has controlled the boards, and they position themselves and they box out well. You can even see them talking offensively on positioning. So they're very in sync with each other, which just makes for an easier offense.
And Hopkins looks a step quicker right now. Agara with the inbound to Woodson. Bang, bang play. Woodson finds herself at the line.
Yeah, and if you go back and you look at that last play, everyone played a part in that possession, even if they didn't have the ball in their hand, which is so important when you're going through your offensive sets that you execute.
Woodson averaging 14 points per game. And speaking to the depth of this team, LaToya, no one for Hopkins has scored more than 26 in a game. That was Nunu Agara. We were there for that one. No 30-point games in this roster, though. Not that you need someone to go off for 30.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. But they all have the potential to. They all have the potential to.
So it's a 12-1 burst for the Royals.
Hey, you know, how many times do we get to see on a defensive set that next pass being cut off? A lot of times we see the ball is received by the player and then the defense comes. You watch Hopkins, they're preventing that next pass. You got to go to your second option. They're not just allowing you to make a pass.
Traveling call on Ware, much to her surprise. Taylor Woodson knocks down the three. Woodson has 13 points. Minnetonka as a team has 11. It is now a 15-1 run. Ware lost the ball to Copeland. Woodson.
At it again.
This time the kick out. Nnaji can knock down threes, but not that time. Ware got bumped by Nnaji. Combined, these two teams have 2 losses. Hopkins, their 1-loss came to Sidwell Friends. Minnetonka lost in one of the more shocking games of the season. They had to make up a few dates with COVID protocols causing a reshuffling. Holy Family Catholic beat them in overtime at the MLK Fury Classic. Holy Family, a hot shooting bunch at that invite.
And it took an overtime game.
It changed the dynamic all around. It put Holy Family Catholic in the conversation of teams to watch in 2A, and it was a dent on Minnetonka.
Nice snatch.
There's Nunu Agara.
Nice snatch.
She wanted the and one call, doesn't get it, but she'll take the 2 points.
You know,
Nunu has no lack of confidence, does she?
I'm a post player, and I love great post play. Even though my daughter's a guard, I love great post play.
Woodson puts on the brakes. Copeland for 3. Hopkins stays with it. Taylor Woodson scores, and Hopkins erupting.
That's one thing that you can't allow this Hopkins team to do is get second and third chance opportunities. They already don't miss that often, so to give them those opportunities, you just have to get in position and force them to go over your back and get the push call.
A 19-1 scoring run for Hopkins.
And we see, Minnetonka's having just a little bit of trouble in that backcourt. Even though it seems like Hopkins, I think in the last couple of possessions, they pulled their full court press off, but just having a little trouble getting the ball across the court and getting their offense started.
And it doesn't get much easier for Minnetonka. They have their first meeting with Eden Prairie on Friday. We'll have the second one. They get Hopkins one more time, February 15th, IMG Academy, February 17th, in a makeup of the Super Games event. And they end the regular season with Wayzata and St. Michael Albertville. Of course, as you know, the Lake Conference, the toughest in the state. Just about every matchup will put your endurance and your know-how to the test.
To the test, yes. Yes. If you're not on a vitamin regimen, you should be.
So it will give Minnetonka some insight as to how to adapt without Kiani Lockett. But the way Hopkins is playing right now, this series could establish them as a heavy favorite. Of course, they were a heavy favorite last year, and then Chaska upset them. So there are no guarantees.
Yeah, Minnetonka started off well, and so we'll see if they can go back to what was working for them in the first half.
There's a quick set, and Aaliyah Crump with the finish. That's what Minnetonka needed. I saw this Minnetonka team drop 95 in a game against St. Louis Park back on Thanksgiving weekend. Another offensive rebound. Go ahead.
Yeah, she's just this stand behind. That's not going to work. You're going to have to quarter front her and prevent her from getting the ball and have help side in place for the lob. But sitting on her back is going to be deadly for you tonight.
Well, it's interesting you say that because Maya Nnaji, she was asked by the breakdown, how have your post move changed the way opponents play you? She said it makes it very difficult to guard me because if they sag off, I'll hit a jumper. If they get too close, I'll spin off of them or dive.
Hey, flex on them. What else can you say? Flex on them. They don't make them like you anymore.
What do you mean they don't make him like Maya anymore?
Well, I mean,
that's the mold.
To have all of the skill sets that she has in that post play, we don't see post players like that. That's why she's a McDonald's All-American.
31-13.
I think the NBA game with, Steph Curry coming in and shooting the threes and their stretch fours, it took a lot of the emphasis off of good post play.
Hopkins with another steal. Battle to McGill for 2 more. Battle with the foul. That's the last to give. Go ahead.
Yeah, and Tara's talking to her again. Beat the ball to the pass. Beat the ball to the pass. You see that they're not allowing that first pass to happen. They're trying to swarm before it gets there. Getting a lot of interceptions.
And I was thinking about what you said. Well, right now I'm thinking about Agara and her heads-up play on defense. Gets there to trail. Doesn't work out. And not happy with the call there.
And we talked about Nunu's acting the last time we were here. I think she's added a little bit more to it. She now has vocals to go with it and facial expressions.
That'll send Minnetonka to the line for a 1-1. Aaliyah Crump will do the honors. But I thought about what you said and how the game has changed. You need more mobile post players now. So someone like Nnaji, well, she can do it all, but more of a rarity because the game is emphasizing versatility, positionless basketball, if you will.
Right.
Not like the old days where you had your bruisers down low and that's all they did. They want players who can do a little more these days. Crump splits at the line.
And with the training opportunities and spaces that the young ladies have now, that's easily obtainable.
Analytics certainly played a part as well, highlighting the value of a three-point shot. And Dasovich on the line has yet to find her mark.
Woodson just jumped right over. We've seen a couple possessions now where Hopkins has kind of, let the ball slip out of their hands there. We don't get to see that too often.
Crump to Ware for three.
Yeah, they needed that. That was a great setup for her.
And McKinney, if I'm not mistaken, screened off two Hopkins players. Ware was wide open.
That's knowing your player personnel and aiding and assisting. Trusting your teammate.
Agara, I think she took that personally. That is McGill, I should say. McGill certainly took that personally. She was one of the players that was screened. Goes in for two. Crump says, right back at you.
Yeah, McGill said, I don't need any screen.
McGill, spin move. Up, no. Dead ball rebound to the Royals.
I see you, Liv.
She'll go to the bench for a breather. Aaliyah Crump.
The little defensive prowess herself there.
Wright can't connect on the three. Woodson against Crump.
It's so funny when you're watching the ball go out of bounds, all the fans, the coaches, everyone's pointing in a different direction where they want the possession to go to.
And I'm just watching to see where it will end up. It's tough sometimes when you have two players going at it. McKinney was pushed. So she'll go to the line. Tori McKinney, a tennis and basketball athlete at Minnetonka, 6'1" sophomore.
Yeah, that's what I was just looking at. She's fairly young herself. Last couple of possessions for her, too, she's went right at the Hopkins player, so it's good energy to have.
She made some big plays with her North Tartan team in AAU competition last summer. Nice cut, and Taylor Woodson gets on the board with her second field goal.
you know, Hopkins has some tricks in their bags. They are executing their plays, and we're seeing different plays almost every set from them. Which hats off to the coaching staff, hats off to the kids who are able to retain it and execute it. Just let you know what high-level athletes and what caliber players you have on the floor right now.
Their depth may have taken a hit this year, but they maintain a multitude of versatility.
And right now we have 3 non-starters on the floor for Hopkins.
To better explain it for you, Dasovich blocked by Agara. Right there for the save. I'll get to that in a moment. Ware. Around traffic, no good.
I think we have an injured player here.
And that is the last thing Minnetonka wants to see.
Oh, I can feel that energy. Like, we couldn't really hear it because the game was still going on, but she was exhibiting a lot of pain there.
When the high school season is over, TSP Television goes on the highlight trail. Our highlight reels provide you with a valuable resource for recruiters and a keepsake of your favorite athlete. To learn more about our highlight reel services, contact us at tsptelevision@gmail.com.
As far as the game is concerned, how do you adapt to that pressure defense? Because that is where Minnetonka has struggled. Shots, you're going to run into peaks and valleys.
Yeah. And during situations like this with a player, you know the kids absorb so much of that because they are in close proximity with each other for long periods of time, so they definitely care about each other. But you also don't want them to be hyper-focused on that. So try to just continue to talk to them about the game and what's next and what's going to happen next, and then address that.
Well, we're seeing Amaya Dasovich walk off, so we'll have to see what her injury was, but my first concern, especially with Kiani, was the knee.
I feel like it might have been a back thing. I think she might have...
Or maybe hit her head, too, or your back. And if you are in a defenseless position or a vulnerable position, well, no matter what body part, if you hit the deck, it hurts. But if you're Minnetonka, you just have to forge ahead for the time being. And I think what it's going to come down to is finding a way to get around that Hopkins defense, which is tougher than it sounds. So with 1:20 left, Minnetonka, this sounds cliche, but a stop and a couple of buckets would go a long way. Nunu Agara has other ideas. She can't hit the elbow jumper. Let's see if Minnetonka can get a clean set off.
Ooh, we missed that one.
Double dribble, and that is another element working against Minnetonka. We've seen them hit with a couple of those unforced errors. The traveling calls, the double dribbles. We're not seeing as much of that out of Hopkins.
And Hopkins will make you think twice about what you're going to do next, and before you know it, you've taken a couple extra steps or dribbled with both hands.
And no matter who the opponent is, you can't second-guess yourself against a team as polished as the Royals. Woodson for three. Got it.
The patience that Nunu exhibited on working that move and then finding her open player across court.
Hopkins is off to the races again.
And they get right in their set.
Woodson with the kick out to Agara for three. Boyle tips it back to Nunu. Hopkins with 15 seconds.
And you see the discipline. Come back to the top, reset it.
Plenty of time to do so. Ooh! A little bit of confusion there, and Taylor Woodson got caught on a carrying call.
Which we don't see that often from the Hopkins team. You know, they're going to trade it there.
Ware. Woodson with the pick. And they will give Crump the shooting motion. Give credit to Aaliyah Crump, recognizing the situation. She didn't necessarily have to throw it up right away, but she'll get 3 free throws out of it.
In her mind, she was saying the shot clock is, the time is running out. Let me get the shot up. And it'll be a nice upper for them to go into the locker room if she's able to knock down all 3 of these.
Crump, as we said before, classing up 3 grades last summer in AAU competition, played with the Metro Stars. Highly familiar with the Hopkins kids, even though she is now wearing a different shade of blue. She'll get 2 out of 3. And Hopkins will let time expire. 41-21. That first half was all Hopkins. That stifling defense, not giving Minnetonka any breaks. And now for the Skippers, they have to contend with the health of Amaya Battle after she suffered an injury late in the period.
Yeah, hopefully they'll go in the locker room and it's not as bad as it looked here on the court. And the Skippers can come out and continue to compete in the second half.
We'll see what the second half brings and if Minnetonka has something up their sleeve. This is high school girls basketball. Hopkins leads Minnetonka 41-21.
Twin Cities Sports Broadcasting, and a whole lot more. That's what you get from TSB Television. We provide long-lasting digital coverage of your favorite athletes from the preps to the pros. Dazzling moves.
Holloman, good if it goes. Yes!
Game winners.
From James. She's in trouble. Finds James. Toss shot! It goes in!
And everything in between. Before we let you go, do you want to say hi to anybody?
Oh, I don't know. Let's put me on the spot there.
If you want to connect with our audience, visit us at patreon.com/TSB Television or sponsor our coverage through PayPal and Cash App. Thank you for watching.
Back at the Lindbergh Center, Mike Peden and LaToya Turk with you as Lake Conference basketball takes place on National Girls and Women in Sports Day. And Hopkins certainly in a celebratory mood, leading 41-21 as we get ready to start the second half. The Woodson sisters, Taylor and Tatum, have 23 points combined, 15 for Taylor, 8 for Tatum. Agara with 7, McGill with 6, Nnaji with 5. Minnetonka, 7 points from Aaliyah Crump, 5 from Ware, 4 from Amaya Dasovich, who is back in the huddle. She was slowly walking her way to the bench, and one of our camera ops, Sam, was on top of it, explained that Amaya Dasovich hit her lower back on the block, but that's a good sign that she was able to walk off and walk her way back to the Minnetonka huddle here. We'll see if she returns to action, but Minnetonka, they have enough obstacles to deal with. The last thing they want is to lose another one of their top-tier players.
Yeah, and Emma was doing such a great job down in the paint. She was definitely making a presence and causing a little ruckus for the Hopkins players there. So it would be nice if she's able to come back in the second half for her team.
A lot of games taking place tonight. Wednesdays typically aren't the busiest for high school hoops, but we had caucuses yesterday, which scattered the schedule. That being said, I'm surprised more teams don't try to make National Girls and Women in Sports Day a thing. We've had some Wednesday games on occasion, but considering how many of these athletes
There's so
benefited
many
from
things
women's
that we
sports.
could do in the state for girls basketball. You know, when I came here a few weeks ago for the ESPN game, we didn't have a lot of our teams here to watch that historical moment, which would have been nice.
Well, you have to remember the first evening of that invitational took place on a busy night, so a lot of teams couldn't necessarily make the trek here. I know in my case, I had to call a visitation game.
Right. That's what I'm saying. There were a lot of games that night, which we've rescheduled games for multiple reasons at this point in the season. It's a reschedule for that opportunity to see players at that caliber.
And there's only so much you can control.
Correct.
But I would like to see some type of event, and it's tough on a Wednesday. It's a school night compared to Thanksgiving weekend, Martin Luther King Day, where it's easier to put together those invitationals. But National Girls and Women in Sports Day just screams
I definitely
signature
hear
event.
your apprehensions when you say like it's a school night and things are busy, but for the things that are important, we make space for it, and this is something that's important for our athletes, our young ladies. Planning and coordination goes a long way.
I'm just explaining why maybe more effort hasn't been put into this day yet.
Give me the job. I'll make it happen.
Oh, I know you would. You understand the assignment.
Yes, I do.
And so does Maya Nnaji, who knocks down both free throws to make it 43-21.
Even though Minnetonka isn't faring as well as they hope they would be tonight, they have brought in a huge fan section with them here. We see a lot of young ladies that are in elementary who play basketball in their feeder program, and so I just wanted to give a shout out. There's a couple ladies in front of us who play for the Minnetonka third grade traveling team that I wanted to make sure that we knew they were in the house tonight.
Amaya Battle. This is the jumper. And based on what we're seeing here, if Hopkins hangs on, this might lead you to at least anoint Hopkins as the heavy favorite to win in Class 4A. Every team they have faced thus far, outside of Sidwell Friends, hasn't been able to run with them.
Mm-hmm.
But these two teams will meet again. And by that point, Minnetonka will have some more reps on how to approach the game without Kiani Lockett. And Kiani, who knows when she'll be able to start her college career. We know she's going to Creighton, but she's going to need a few procedures to repair some lingering damage, because the last time she suffered an ACL injury, in between then and now, she had a growth spurt.
And you know, the good thing about it is she has youth on her side. Oh, that was great positioning. Even though it might have looked a little low or inside of the arc, she got that charge call against Ware there.
Nothing going right for Minnetonka right now. Last year, Minnetonka gave Hopkins a run in one of their two meetings. Nnaji overpowers Tootie Lewis.
Yeah, and Woodson's going to make Ware work every single time she brings that ball up the floor. I'm just so amazed at the depth that she has defensively.
Aaliyah Crump. And that was set up by her change in direction, switching hands on the dribble and getting a step on Agara. So back to the free throw line she goes.
And we've seen that a couple of times, and I'm sure she's flexed that move on her in practice a couple of times over the summer too, so she knows what she can do and what she can't do against Nunu.
And remember, she knows this Hopkins team well, owing to her time with the Metro Stars. So Agara, Woodson, Battle, Boyle, she's played with them all.
Oh, can't leave Kelly open. Okay.
Nnaji trying to capitalize on the assignment against Lewis. Crump. No good on the layup. Lewis, top of the key. Can't connect on the three. Here comes Ware.
Snuck right in there. Yeah, she snuck right in there.
And perhaps an extracurricular going on between McGill and Ware.
Neither one of those two are going to back down, you know.
It was tough to see what transpired from up here because when you're down in a pile up like that, lots of folks in the way.
It's going to be interesting to see Liv's response.
Or Ware's response while we're at it. Crump is fouled. When you look at this series, it's not just the fact that they're conference rivals that have some history in state tournaments. You've got a couple of the Hopkins kids who moved over to Minnetonka, so there's some history with these two.
Step
Crump,
back three there.
short, and Crump, most of Minnetonka, well, it's a double whammy as McGill got bumped by Handorf down low. Her floater was short. Here's Lewis against Nnaji. I wasn't sure that was going to work out, but it did, and that's what matters for Minnetonka. But up until that point, it's been a double whammy for the Skippers, struggling to adapt to the Hopkins pressure defense and having a hard time hitting shots on offense. McGill, her three did everything but go in. And this Minnetonka team, they've been tested. They're coming off a double overtime win against Chaska.
And there wasn't a lot of pressure defense. Minnetonka didn't give Hopkins a lot of pressure defense there. Oh, that was a quick five.
That was a quick five. But Liv McGill will take it.
Yeah.
14-19 left in the second half.
Yeah, and with the spread as wide open as it is, I would like to see the Skippers just put a little more pressure on Hopkins right now. Especially, you know, they have a couple of three-point shooters on the floor.
They put some pressure on there. Here's McKinney. And a foul is called.
And sometimes when you're in those situations and you have a player pinched, you don't have to bring your hands down. It's almost like a bailout when you bring your hands down and you allow them to get that foul called against you. Just keep your hands straight up and pinch them, put them in a bad situation, and then the responsibility is on your other players to cut off that next pass.
Crump just got tagged with her fourth personal foul. Hopkins goes back door, extra pass, battle to Nnaji. How many times have we seen that combination? Timeout Minnetonka.
When you find yourself out of defensive position, it's how many rotations do you allow yourself to be out of defensive position. Amaya Battle was able to catch that pass underneath the basket, and so there should have been an adjustment there defensively, and I think you can't give up defensively, especially not underneath the basket. Not at the top of the key either, not at the half court, but mentally, I know it's probably tough right now for Minnetonka.
Speaking of mental, Nnaji explained the mental and physical aspects of her moves down low. You have to be cunning and able to determine which move, how to counter against the defense, or in that case, position yourself to take that extra feed. Hopkins is simply thriving right now. Minnetonka struggling. But this could be the kind of butt kicking that could prove beneficial to Minnetonka later, and that seems weird to say, but this is their first game without Lockett. They're going to get a few more reps throughout the month of February. It takes some time to make that kind of adjustment.
Yep, you're absolutely right.
And I do see Kiani's mother in attendance, so she's not going to stop going to Minnetonka games. Actually, her mother said she's not sure what she'll do with herself because her two youngest are into dance and chess.
Oh.
And as Shawnee explained, you can't be as vocal in your support with chess as you can for basketball.
Oh, I've been there. My oldest was in dance, and I'm like, what do I do here? We're going to sign Desiree up for that acting class with Nunu.
Side fade, but a traveling call.
Oh, I don't know, Mike. I don't know. That was a pretty sweet step back there, Kelly. And you can see Coach Stark's trying to get her team refocused here. Hands up. Get it back.
On that last play that was nullified, I think your interpretation of that call depends on who you're rooting for. I saw dueling reactions
Yeah.
from the student sections.
It looked good from here, Kelly. And I'm sure she's got a few more in her, so.
Battle playing tight defense. McGill with the pick. She's got a straight line to the bucket. Well, she'll draw the foul on McKinney. McGill with amazing acceleration. We don't see that often. McGill, of course, started her varsity career at Park Center before making the move to Hopkins.
You know, it's always a good opportunity when kids get to play with other great athletes. You know, it sets the bar for them. It pushes them. And her first year or even two, and I'm sure even prior to that, she had an opportunity to play with one of our Miss Basketball winners, Miss McKenzie. So that's always a great learning experience for players to be able to play with high-level athletes.
And McGill using her agility to collect the offensive rebound. Lewis gets the Plinko bounce. High-low, battle to Nnaji. She'll try again and get the layup.
Yeah, for Maya, she just knew her strength there. Could hear her calling for it. There's no questions asked.
Ware hounded. Here's Wright. Nnaji with the tip. Battle with the step. Gets her own miss.
You know, one thing that I'm seeing Coach Starks do is when her players linger on a play that already happened, she refocuses them and redirects them to what's going on now. Basketball is a game of transition.
Next
and she's
play.
telling them, yeah, the ball is still here. Come back here.
And that is Amaya Battle's first field goal. Nnaji picks up the assist. The two highlighted the chemistry they've developed as Desiree Ware fires
Deep
the three.
three.
Pure.
And that's one of her strong points. You know, I'd love to see them run her off some picks. And
Taylor Woodson with the turnaround hook. The turnaround jumper, that is.
yeah, took the words out of my mouth. I couldn't even finish my sentence there. She makes it look so easy. But yeah, Ware can shoot the three, and as she just showed, she could shoot the deep three. And so let's capitalize off of that.
Well, Hopkins has simply turned this into a clinic. And we have a milestone. I believe Amaya just got her 1,000th point there.
Congratulations, Miss Battle.
Bound to get a few more at Minnesota next year. And I was talking with Eric Bugard before the game with Jasmine Powell entering the transfer portal. Battle and the other freshmen, they could get considerable playing time once they suit up for the Gophers. Boyle, she wants 3 points. Ware was fouled on the rebound.
Woodson does not share her toys in the paint. Hopkins, they do not share in the paint. Which is the one time we can condone that. We can say that's okay. That's a good thing.
Tatum Woodson going in for Taylor. Right. Showcasing some moves. Desiree Ware knocks down another triple.
You know, I can't make these things up. Like, let her shoot the three. It's going to be beneficial for you.
Hopkins still up big, though, 54-32 with 10:15 to go. Nnaji lost the dribble. Ware swoops in.
And I'd run a set for Desiree again.
3 ball. Didn't like that set there, a little too quick. Battle to Nnaji, hesitation, count it. How many assists do you think Battle has picked up over the years just by feeding it to Maya Nnaji?
Well, you know, in that interview that we did last week with them, they talked about knowing each other and where they are on the floor because they played together for so long. And so that's just a simple, I'm trailing you, I'm behind you. And they've linked up a lot. And it's really nice to have a point guard that knows how you like the ball, where to put it at for you. And Battle does a great job with Nnaji on connecting with her.
And of course, I'm not on the committee, and I would prefer not to be, but you have to think Maya Nnaji would be the front runner to win Miss Basketball this year. Likely would have won a state title in 2020 had it not been for the pandemic.
Oh. So you can see Coach Starks. Okay, guys. You see Nunu, please, please, me.
Hopkins taking their time. Now Nunu gets the touch she's been looking for, fires the turnaround fadeaway and hits.
That's so pretty. That is so pretty.
And how do you defend that?
You got to not let her get the ball because once she catches you on her back, she's so flexible with it. And if you notice that the post players for Hopkins, they have 1 or 2 go-to moves that they have in their pocket, but they also have a counter for what the defense gives them, which means that they've just gotten in the gym and got those moves on repetition and on lock. They do them effortlessly.
9:04 to go in the second half. Hopkins leads 59-32. It's hard to say what this game would look like if Kiani Lockett wasn't available, and Minnetonka went through that grief period, the 7 stages or the 5 stages of grief, I believe, and they're doing their best to push forward. But this game, this performance is going to establish Hopkins as the clear front-runner to win in Class 4A. Of course, they will be the first to tell you that there are no guarantees when we get there, as Chaska demonstrated last spring. But so far, they have passed every in-state test quite smoothly.
And even with Kiani on the bench, losing Emma in that first half played a big part in their ability to defend and rebound in the paint. But we can say that McKinney and Crump and Ware, they've showed up. It's just there's only so much you can do against this Hopkins 5 to 9.
We should also point out Hopkins and Wayzata, they meet again February 11th. Mara Braun should be available for that one. She's a difference maker. Tootie Lewis scores on the drive.
We spent a lot of time talking about the lineup that Hopkins has on the floor. I want to add Coach Tara Starks to that. She does an amazing job communicating with her team.
McGill sees an opening, launches the 3. And another obstacle for Minnetonka tonight. 4 fouls on Aaliyah Crump, limiting her effectiveness. But for someone like Crump and many other athletes who made a name for themselves in basketball, this could be one of those learning experiences. Agara again, well, she'll get free throws out of it. I didn't get to see her play a ton as a freshman a couple years ago. Of course, she was a bench player then, but she just looks so fluid, so smooth.
She does. She does. She handles the ball well. Just great court vision as well.
No sense of hesitation with her game at all.
For the past umpteenth games that we've called for Hopkins, I've always seen Taylor Woodson have her ponytail at the top of her head. She switched it up a little bit for us today.
Lewis too strong. Agara again. Does she have another turnaround in her?
Yeah.
Not that time. Took too many steps. And the look on her face. Well, she's eating up her role, isn't she? There is no lack of confidence.
When you know you got it, especially when you have a go-to move. When you got a go-to move, you got it. And that's her go-to move.
She's got a little spunk. I'll be curious to see how that translates into next season. Give and go, but Micaiah Copeland couldn't catch up to it.
They love that play. We've seen them do it a couple of times here, and they love it.
When you're as swift as Hopkins is, that's a high efficiency move in the artillery, in the playbook.
And just open it up for her and let her get to the basket.
Ware, McGill is on her. Crump in trouble. Linnell Wright has it. Crump launches the 3. Not her night. McGill, the long skip to Woodson.
Quick hands there by Ware to get in there and tip that away. Let's see if they can capitalize off of this.
Crump attacks the lane and draws the foul. Crump not shooting well tonight, and to finish up the conversation I was having, for someone like Crump, who's been tabbed as the next big thing by several coaches and her colleagues, even the best go through rough terrain.
Mm-hmm. And it's a huge adjustment tonight. I mean, this is her first night playing without her point guard. And then Emma goes down. So that's a big adjustment to her normal pocket that she gets to sit in. So she's making the adjustment. And from what we've seen tonight, I don't think there's no doubt in my mind that she won't step up to the challenge. She looks like an amazing player. She is an amazing player.
Every player goes through that struggle, that low point, before reaching the pinnacle. For Paige Beckers, it was all those years without a state title, despite collecting every other accolade you can possibly imagine, as Makaya Copeland banks in the 15-footer.
Yeah, and even though it's not a good shooting night for her, she's averaging right around 12 points, and she has 10 points tonight. So over these next few weeks, she'll, just need to increase that a little bit to make up for the points that they're losing from Lockett, and still make the adjustment. Just tonight, they weren't able to make the adjustment against Hopkins, which would be difficult for any team to do.
Free throws coming for Taylor Woodson.
Are there any other teams that we've seen or that we know of that have post players as fluid as this Hopkins program? The footwork, the ball handling skills.
Hard to say. In my conversation with Eric Bugard before the game, he noted, and this is a legitimate possibility, the best way you can threaten Hopkins when we get to postseason play could be perimeter shooting.
Mm-hmm.
They have so much to work with in the interior. They don't go to the three-point line often, and their best option, Elena Contreras, out for the year. That might be the way to beat them, is to knock down some shots from behind the arc. Nora Arndt trailing Ware on that one.
And Nunu goes right to the paint and sits down. Same move.
Offensive foul that time. She plowed into McKinney, and Agara laughing it off. And that is her fifth, so Agara fouls out. She'll finish with 13.
In a good way. Nunu's down there being a bully in the paint. There we go.
Makaya Copeland using her arms to get the deflection and then the steal. Nnaji pulls up, switch.
Nice.
Three on the way from Grace Hamdorf is short.
Yeah, if you look at that last possession, Maya Nnaji did a move we call the swim over, where she was able to get defensive rebounding position, which works for guards on the cut, post players on the rebound.
Free throws coming.
Position.
And it looks like Minnetonka is going to send in their deep players now. Sydney Reed and Ellie Keenan with the game out of reach. Nnaji knocks down the front end. Another showcase of brilliance for the Royals. And that's really all you need to summarize this game. There's not a whole lot that needs to be said that hasn't already been said as far as covering this team. And Minnetonka will shoot a pair. And further discussing Kiani Lockett's impact, this is something to keep an eye on as they continue late conference play. In that first meeting with St. Michael Aberville, it was Kiani who led a comeback as the skippers knocked off the Knights. Minnetonka will have to find someone else to take that initiative as they move forward. Leah Dasovich was not too fond of the timing. Of course, you never can control injuries. And Minnetonka having to play Hopkins to start this new chapter of theirs as the Royals start to send in their bench players. I'm going to take a stab. Dylan Tubbs, number 42, is out there. So with 3:39 to go, LaToya, this will establish Hopkins as a clear front runner. But for Minnetonka, what can they take from this? This is certainly a learning experience, and I think that would be an understatement. But how do you think this could help prepare them not only for their second meeting with Hopkins, but the slate they have to close out February?
Yeah, it was like a quick, hard reality for them. Of their player personnel and what it's going to look like in the upcoming weeks as they go into section play. It was a complete switch up of their lineup. Okay, we're here, we're competing, and then Emma goes out, and that even makes it more of a drastic change for them on the floor. So it's going to be a lot of work for the coaches to equip and prepare their team mentally and to just change the rotation and the lineup.
That's Jazzy Dupree seeing her first action.
Boy, all the Hopkins players are trying to get their ESPN highlight on tonight with those spin moves.
ESPN, they were already here.
Our clips can make ESPN.
Possibly.
Just have to send them in.
And of course, for Minnetonka, this goes without saying, if a few more of those shots go down, that changes the narrative of this one. Shooting performances, always so crucial. You run into a hot shooting team, anything can happen. When you run into a rut, not so great things can happen.
Yeah, and they really needed those threes to fall, some of those free throws that they maybe left at the line. Maybe the score would have been a little closer, but I just think losing that amount of depth from your team with Lockett and Emma really impacted the score tonight.
And Emma staying on the bench perhaps as a precautionary measure. You don't want to aggravate a back injury. So we'll have to see if and when she's able to return, as we are scheduled to cover another Minnetonka game when they go on the road to play Eden Prairie February 12th in a makeup of their originally scheduled game. The two sides will meet on Friday.
And even though Eden Prairie doesn't have the height at the guard position that Hopkins has, they do have some very established guards out there, which will still give that backcourt for Minnetonka a bit of a challenge.
They have quickness at Eden Prairie. Minnetonka to shoot two more.
I'd say they have quickness, they have discipline. They're probably one of the teams that we've seen that will run their sets for the longest amount of time. They're patient. They've played with each other for a while, so just kind of like what we see with Battle and Nnaji, they just know each other.
And even though Hopkins lost some depth, again, Crump and Wright going to Minnetonka, Salam Maher making the move to St. Louis Park at the start of the season. They still have versatility on their side, and I'll explain in a moment as Minnetonka looks to add three more. Here's Dupree. Josie Nnaji lost it. Hopkins, they're going to win in runaway fashion, even though Amaya Battle only had 2 points.
Yeah, and it's, back to what we've said before. It doesn't require a 30-point score on this team. Everyone has the capability of producing. And even with her, like you said, even with her only scoring 30 points, it's a runaway win. Hopkins has a way of making a statement, sending a message.
They certainly did. Again, it helped them that they didn't have to worry about Lockett, but you have to play with the hand you're dealt. Hopkins has no trouble with that.
Yeah, I was really, really looking forward to seeing Miss Lockett play tonight. I just hope that she recovers quickly and I can get out to see her play at the collegiate level, which I know she will. She's extremely resilient. We've seen her bounce back for several adversities from, transferring, sitting out a year, and she's always been a leader. So even though we didn't get to see you tonight, I can say for the both of us, it's been a privilege watching her play her high school career.
And it's been a privilege these last few weeks to get another glimpse of this Hopkins team and their fluency at the sport of basketball.
It's a system.
It's a system. I think everyone was wondering what that system might look like after Brian Cosgriff left, who was responsible for establishing it, but still holding up with Tara Starks. That is Jasmine Johnson, number 15, who gets on the board. Linnell Wright drains the runner. That gets her on the board. I would be curious to see what the second meeting looks like between these two. Because Minnetonka now will have some experience on how to conduct themselves without Lockett. I would like to think they'll be more prepared the second time around, and who knows what lies ahead. They're in a tough section. Chaska, Eden Prairie, and Shakopee, all legitimate contenders in that group. And then you've got some young guns in Prior Lake. You could have potentially a 500 or so team be the 8 seed. And for Hopkins, that second meeting with Wayzata could be quite telling. CCX will have live coverage of that one. But with Mara Braun back in the lineup, Wayzata might have something to say.
Yes.
They have lived in the shadow of Hopkins for a long time.
And when you're Hopkins, every single night, every team that you play, they're coming for you. No one's just going to roll over. Everyone wants to be that team that beat Hopkins. So every single night you have to know that you have to show up. They don't have an option. They have to show up every night.
They certainly did tonight. And I can't wait to see what they do moving forward. IMG Academy, that should be a fun one. A rare afternoon game on a school day. Hopkins, they're going to fire a three. That was London Harris. Inconsequential as far as the outcome is concerned, as Hopkins beats Minnetonka 70-46. LaToya, I don't think there's a whole lot to say about this game. Hopkins, they're poised, they have cohesiveness. Minnetonka, start of a new chapter, an unexpected one at that, and the more experienced team won out.
I think a week ago, this wasn't what anyone was expecting, and there was just a turn of events that led to this situation. But like you said, they'll meet again, and I'm sure it'll look different because now we have a little bit of analytics that we can go back and take a look at.
Recapping the numbers for you, Nnaji and Taylor Woodson lead the Royals with 18 points. Agara had 13 before she fouled out. McGill with 7. Tatum Woodson with 8. Those are your notables. For Minnetonka, Desiree Ware finished with 11. Aaliyah Crump with 10. I mentioned this in the open, and as crazy as this might sound, given the outcome, I wouldn't write off this Minnetonka team just yet.
Absolutely.
Amaya Battle getting a celebratory picture worth her 1,000th point. And hopefully more to come as she puts on a Gophers uniform. This is high school girls basketball. Hopkins beats Minnetonka 70-46 to go to 15-1.